Hey everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And this is Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about the Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. This is designed by Michael Reinick and it is published by Cosmos.
One of the times I mentioned, I said Adventures in Mount Doom.
Oh, whoa.
That's a very different game.
It's like the adventure in death.
Yeah. Do you like lava? Because we got lava.
Adventures in.
No, this is Adventures to Mount Doom.
To Mount Doom.
What a fun, lighthearted adventure it is, too, for all of our characters.
It's so easy and relaxing.
All right, we're big Lord of the Rings nerds. I don't know if you noticed Bethany's shirt that she's wearing. She's wearing her Map of Middle-earth shirt. So we're traveling all across Bethany's shirt in this game. And
shout out to Havilah. She gave me the shirt.
There you go.
In case she's watching.
And there are a lot of great Lord of the Rings themed games. We've played some big, heavy ones that had some big implications and took forever. We played some really light ones that were just, mass market kind of things that had a Lord of the Rings theme on them. We have been trying to find that sweet spot, 1 hour long game, cooperative, that gives you the feeling of going on the adventures of the Fellowship of the Ring in the Lord of the Rings. Is this the one?
Is it?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let me give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here is our setup for Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. Now, this is a map of the Lord of the Rings. However, it is not an accurate Middle-earth map. I know it disappointed me, but it is a functional map that gets the job done. It's more or less a chronological listing of all the different places that you're going to stop along your way to get to Mount Doom. We've got our Fellowship of the Ring over here. Our orange is our ring bearer. That's going to be kind of like a combination of Frodo and Sam. And we've also got some other hobbits. And we've got Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn. So we're going to try to get them from place to place. We're starting at Rivendell, then going to Lothlorien, Rohan, Helm's Deep, Gondor, Minas Morgul, and then ultimately to Mount Doom. However, that last stretch of the road is just going to be the ring bearer by themselves. They're going to have to go that last stretch just like they did in the books and movies. For each little section of land, as you're kind of going through it, has its own deck of cards that you're going to be dealing with. We've got all the different cards along the sides there. That right now, along the bottom there, we are going to be going from Rivendell to Lothlorien, so we've got the Lothlorien cards out there. We do have one Rivendell card as well, which is where we start off with. And at the beginning of the game, that's just a Boromir card. There's these green cards. Green cards are basically going to be awarded to players. They're going to be kind of used as a boon to kind of help people out along the way. When we're actually going through the cards, we have some green cards that are good. We also have lots and lots of bad cards, which are red. In addition to the location cards, we also have some Gandalf cards. At the beginning of the game, we're going to shuffle those up. We're going to draw one of them. We're going to get that. It's basically, again, another kind of a boon. This particular one says, after a roll, turn one black encounter die to any face. You spend that, and then it's going to be a benefit to you. But you have to spend the card in order to make it happen. So obviously, the way we win the game is by getting the ring bearer all the way to Mount Doom. But there's a lot of different ways that we can lose the game. We have over here, we have the Nazgul. We have a Nazgul track over here. There's going to be lots of different situations where we need to place a Nazgul on the board. If we ever get to a point where all the Nazgul are on the board, we automatically lose. Also, we have a courage track on the side over here. We've got the ring starting there. We're going to move up and down as the game goes on. Mostly down, unfortunately. But if we get to that bottom track, we automatically lose the game that way as well. This is a roll and move style game. However, it's a little different than other roll and move games that you might have heard of. So for instance, we're not any one player. All 5 of these characters are out there every single time. It's not like I'm purple and Bethany's green or anything like that. We're all controlling all of them. Also, you get a little bit of control of who moves and when. So basically what's going to happen is, every time you roll, when it's your turn, you're going to take this little book token, put it in front of you. What you're going to do is you are going to roll both of the black die, which are going to be triggering these cards down here, as well as two dice over here, who you want to move. Let's say you really want to move Aragorn and Legolas. So Aragorn is the blue based off his little standee, and Legolas is green. You're going to roll all 4 of these together. What you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the black die to activate first. It's either going to be a 1 or a 3. A 3 is a Nazgul. We're going to have to put one of those Nazgul out there. That's bad news. A 1 is a mystery right now. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the mystery. And now we can choose to either move Legolas 4 spots, or we can choose to move Aragorn 6 spots. I like the idea of Aragorn getting ahead of everybody, leading the way. Let's get him out there. Now, before we resolve, we're going to do this one more time. We're going to take the 2 dice that we just had out there, plus we're going to add in 1 more dice. This time let's add in Gimli. Roll those up. Whatever the result of black die is, we have to use that. we get a chance to choose either to move Gimli 1 spot or Legolas 2. Let's put Legolas out there 2. The remaining die goes back to the supply. And now we resolve everything down the first page and then down the second page. Alright, so our first one, we're going to flip over the number 1 card. Unfortunately, it was Saruman. He's going to put 2 Uruk-hai in Isengard. We've got a little supply of Uruk-hai over there. They're going to go over to that pile. Later on, we're going to have to face those guys, so you want to try to minimize how many of those guys you put out there. However, we don't have a choice. Some of those cards are face down. This is what we're dealt with. Alright, now we're going to move Aragorn 6 spots. If you land on certain spots, there's a heart there, a dark filled-in heart. That means that we're going to lose courage. And there's some spots that are going to, like that, it's going to add in Nazgul. So you want to avoid all those spots. Alright, so next we're going to resolve that 4 card. In this case, it's Arwen. That's a green card. It's a good thing. It's going to be awarded to whoever's turn it was. So we're going to get that in front of us. It's going to give us some kind of ability that we can use later on in the game. Alright, now we're going to resolve the 2 spot, which is moving Legolas 2. So that is how basically every single turn is going to go. You're going to choose a couple of dice, roll those along with the black dice. It's going to determine who moves and then what bad events or good events happen. You're going to have a chance to do a second roll, and then again, whatever the results are, then we're going to activate them all in order. Some good and some bad cards have the ability to leave the play area, and when that happens, they reveal these things below. So now, later on, if we reveal a 4, what's going to happen is we get a chance to, instead of doing whatever action was here, we can move, in this case, Legolas 0, 1, or 2 spots. Some cards over here are going to have you do combat. Let's pick this Moria Orc over here. You're going to have to fight them off. The way you do combat is basically you're going to roll all the dice of wherever the area where the ring bearer is and everybody else on the ring bearer's side that is either where he is or in front of him up to the next city spot. It's a little confusing, so let me kind of spell that out for you. Over here we have Rivendell. That's our orange. That's where our character is. So now everybody who is either on our spot or ahead of us up to the next city, which in this case is Lothlorien, we get to roll those die. So in this case, it's all 5 die because all 5 of our characters are in that character area. For that reason, it's usually a better idea to keep the ring bearer kind of behind a little bit. If you roll that early and you get ahead, then you're in a situation where combat happens. Now you only get to roll those 2 dice, orange and blue, instead of all 5. But similarly, you don't want people to get too far ahead either. If, for instance, we have Aragorn go past Lothlorien, now when we go into a combat, basically the ring bearers are going to be fighting by themselves. They have no one on their square or ahead of them up to the next spot. Eventually we're going to have characters start landing on our area. If you land on the next city exactly right, you're going to get a gain of courage. So for instance, if we had Gimli land exactly where it needed to on Lothlorien, we get a gain of courage. Once we get all of our characters up here, a little farther ahead, then we're going to have our ring bearer. They're going to go to Lothlorien. If they're able to roll exactly right and so they can land exactly on the next spot, they're going to, instead of getting a courage, they're going to get to draw a new Gandalf card, which is really strong. But either way, even if they go past Lothlorien or the next city, like for instance, if they land here and they only roll, if they roll a 5, they go way past, they still stop at Lothlorien, even if the other characters are able to go past. When the ring bearer gets to a new one of the cities, we're going to wipe the board, we're going to get the new set of cards for the next area, and we're going to kind of reset a little bit. That's really all there is to 90% of the game. We're going to keep on going through those areas, dealing out new cards, and as soon as we go to those challenges, we reveal stuff underneath. We're going to be moving people along, always kind of keeping the ring bearer back a little bit, but not too far back, as we move through these areas of the board. You're going to use Gandalf cards as well as your ally green cards that you've gotten to try to keep your courage as high as possible, because you're going to need it. The rulebook says keep on going with that rule set until you get to Gondor. Once you get into the ring bearer to Gondor, then you kind of need to go to another part of the rulebook and read how the last part of the game is going to go. The characters are going to go with us all the way to Minas Morgul, the very next spot after Gandalf. However, the goal is to get them exactly on Minas Morgul. Before, we got a courage, which is great. But now, what's going to happen is, for every character that lands exactly on Minas Morgul, that's going to help out the ring bearer on their last push to Mount Doom. If somebody does not land all the way past there, let's say we have a couple characters, they're able to land exactly on Minas Morgul. But some other characters, again, we'll go use an example of Gimli. I don't know why I'm hating on Gimli so much. But let's say instead of rolling a 2 like he needs to get, he accidentally rolled a 5. Instead, he left that little area over there. Same with our hobbits. And now, once the ring bearer finally gets to Minas Morgul, they are going to take 2 steps towards Mount Doom because there are 2 characters who landed exactly on Minas Morgul. At that point, we're going to clear the board. Now it's basically just Frodo versus the board. We'll clear all these cards out, and we're going to deal a new set of Mount Doom cards out there. So same as before, we're going to lay out our Mount Doom cards. And now we're ready to take our final push to put the ring in Mount Doom. This time along, though, we don't really have a whole lot of control of what happens. That's why this first 90% of the game is really, really important. This last 10% of the game, we're basically going to roll a die and see what happens, and then we're going to have the ring bearer move forward once. So let's roll our die. All right, we'll go to 2. 2 says, we've got Shelob's Sting. Roll 1 black encounter die, and based off of the results, you're going to lose that much courage. It says 1, you're in luck. 2 to 3, you lose 1 courage. 4 to 6, you lose 2 courage. All right, roll a 2, so we're going to slide down the ring. 1, we lost 1 courage. But then we can move the ring bearer forward once. And that's how the whole end of game is going to go. You're going to roll out black die, do whatever the card says, and then move the ring bearer forward once. If you have enough courage to survive the onslaught of Mount Doom, and you're able to get the ring bearer all the way to Mount Doom and throw the ring in, you and your teammates have won the game.
This game, at its core, is a roll and move. And it's like, what is this, a 2023 game, 2022 game? But it's 2024. And you're like, roll and move? Really? I thought we've moved past that. We have moved past that because there's actually a lot more choice in this simple roll move. So you have all the characters you have to move. So first of all, you're deciding which characters you're going to roll for. And then after you roll, you're going to decide of those which ones you're really moving. You got to move again. You got to roll again. So you have to choose another character. And you also get to choose like what number of the cards you're interacting with. For it being a roll and move, there's actually a lot of choice going on. There's a lot of decisions that you get to make. I was impressed. Color me impressed.
Yeah, that was a revelation, if you will.
Yes, yes.
Thematically, this honestly did a pretty good job. And for instance, they did things like combine Frodo and Sam to make one the ring bearer, piece. There was things that they're hidden to you. There was all of the locations that you moved around to, all of the cards within those locations all made sense for where they were. And the punishments that you enacted from those things all made sense as well. You had these growing threats like the Uruk-hai. The Uruk-hai were primarily in the Rohan area. So you saw as you're going through Rohan, they're getting worse and worse and worse. And then, of course, as Saruman declines, they become less of an issue. Yeah. But all along, you're building up the threat of the Nazgul as well. That's, in fact, one of the game-ending conditions is if you ever get all 9 of the Nazgul out on the board, you lose the game. So I think that the growing peril...
It's one of those cooperative games. You do this, you lose the game. This happens, you lose the game. This happens, you lose the game. And you can only win the game one way.
By by having adventures in Mount Doom.
Yes, I did interrupt you, though. You were talking about the peril. The peril.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the growing peril level as you're going through, as the Nazgul are increasing in strength and in numbers. So you kind of have that in the back of your mind. We've already got, we just started, we already have like 2 or 3 guys out there. Like, can we survive this whole map? I really like that. All the thematic tie-ins that they did, the characters that pop up and when they pop up throughout the story mode. It's just fun kind of, as Lord of the Rings fans, to see, Faramir popped up, or hey, Treebeard popped up, or Gandalf's kind of helping throughout them in the background all the way along. Very, very cool thematically.
I feel like there's actually a lot of replayability in this game. So all the locations that you go to, you interact with a different set of cards. And not just a different set of cards, but you're always putting cards out there and you're putting some back in the box. So there's cards that you're not interacting with in every game. And not just that, but they're the cards at the end, you don't know what they are yet. So they haven't been revealed. So all the locations that you're going to, even though it's that same stack that you're going to be playing with every game, of that stack, what you're playing with and whether it's revealed or not revealed is still going to be different every game. So I actually felt like there was quite a bit of variety in it, even though you're still interacting with the same pool of cards.
Yeah, I think honestly those story cards kind of drove the whole thing for me. Yeah. I will say that the climax was a little bit underwhelming. So you mean
anticlimactic?
The climax was anticlimactic. You had this final kind of round where you wanted to have your characters land on one certain exact spot.
Yeah.
And some of that was in your control, some of it was the luck of the draw, a little bit of the luck of the die rolls. Which you had to modify and work things as best as you could to try to try to make them all in an exact certain spot, so that at the very last, dash of the game, Frodo or the ring bearer had as easy of a time as possible. But once that's been enacted, no matter how good you did setting that up, from then on, it's kind of just like letting it out there and seeing what happens. You might, by no fault of your own, lose the game on that last little stretch just because of whatever happened, you know?
Yeah.
And there is some thematic reasons for that, and I kind of like that from a storytelling narrative. Yeah. As a player of a game, it can be very frustrating. Just like, we made it all the way to the end, and... Oh, we died. Okay. Yeah, got it. Cool.
The end. We did all these things, and then we're just dead.
So, that is what happened the first time we played, too. We got, like the very last step before dumping the ring in the thing, we lost. So.
And we died.
We had adventures in Mount Doom.
We did! We did have adventures in Mount Doom.
And it caused us to our death, but yeah.
Yeah, overall, I actually thought this game was really fun. I was pleasantly surprised, like I mentioned earlier, that it is a roll and move, but there's actually a lot of choices that happen in the roll and move. And so I was really impressed with that. I am curious. I think this game really lends itself... I know a lot of cooperative games are, but this one I think more so really lends itself to solo play. I've started talking about playing games solo, so if that's something that you're interested in, let me know in the comments below, and I can make sure to get this in the next couple of months of playing it solo and give you my thoughts on that, because I'm really curious, but unless you're curious, I don't have the time. So you have to be curious to give me the time.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that the way this game taught itself is really kind of brilliant. You didn't have to play the full game or learn the full amount of rules. You only had to learn like half the rules to get going.
Yeah.
And it told you that. So you're only, really one page of rules plus the setup, and you're into the action, which is great. And then it tells you for your first game, when you get to a certain point, stop, and then it'll teach you the rest of the rules. So as far as that goes, it was a very clear and good system. And it ran the majority of the game that way. So yeah, that worked really, really well. I appreciate how they taught that. So to answer the question that I asked at the beginning of the video, midway, quick Lord of the Rings experience that feels thematic but still engaging. Did this do it? I think so. I think this is a cool one. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan or you're just looking for a fun cooperative adventure, this is a really fun game.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.